Right, so the problem I have with my locking plate is, as you can see, the bonnet catch is getting in the way of the security plate. So, seeing as this catch doesn't actually work because it's all rusted and whatever, it needs removing. If I needed it at a later date, I can always put it on over here, which should be out of the way, or just not bother. Right. Right, try a number of trial fits without screwing anything in. Just make sure the plate is roughly in the right position and that it's actually going to lock. And there's a bit of an issue over on this corner here, so it might be worth my while just grinding that off a bit, or just taking the corner off a bit more here. Done. There we go. This is what the plate looks like after I've ground out just a little bit. Tried to make the curve reasonably smooth. It's still very snug on this corner here, but it works, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now I've got two test holes, well, not two test holes, but two holes drilled through the floor pan, and just as a test I'm going to use some ordinary bolts rather than the security bolts which are provided with the pedal lock, just to make sure it all works and fits. Okay, so just ordinary nut, ordinary bolt, and put these on one on either end. And then see if the whole thing works as it should. If it does, I'll drill the rest of the holes and fit the security bolts. Right, crack on. Now, as you can see, my test fit didn't quite work because I've got this bit of soundproofing around the driver's seat box, which pushed everything slightly forward. So I have in fact got the original hole and another hole. Okay, so measuring is quite important with all the soundproofing you think you're going to need. Okay, that's a couple of test bolts in just to make sure it's going to be okay. And when I first lift it up, you'll feel a bit of pressure on the actual pedals themselves, because if you see that the hinge is slightly forward of the pedal, so when you close the lock, it will actually push on the brake and possibly the clutch as well. Okay, so let's go for a raise, and you just push it into place like that, and it's not coming off. That's pretty good. And to make sure I don't have to change any more bolts, let's make sure we can undo it like that and back up again. Okay, when you undo it, you might have to push it in first and apply the key. Okay, so that's working fine. There we go. I'll take it down again and put in the remainder of the bolts, and we can go for the security bolts. Tidy. Having a bit of trouble getting the drill in front of the clutch pedal. So what I've done is I've just pushed the pedal in, jammed a bit of wood up, so I've got a bit more room. There we go. Now then, time for the security bolts, so which consist of a hex dome head machine screw and a tear off nut. So make sure you put these on the right way around so that they go like that. So what happens is when it gets to a certain tension, this bit will stay on the bolt and this bit will tear off. Okay, for those people who didn't know. Sorry if I'm telling people their grandmothers how to suck eggs and all that, but there you go. Right, I am also using some chromate paste to act as a barrier between the dissimilar metals that are bound to be involved in this operation. This is Duralac, but there are now other brands available, depending on what you're prepared to use. Okay, a liberal amount. And go. That in. So here. One down, 4 to go. To hold the Allen key in place while I'm underneath the car doing the nut, I'm using a welding magnet to hold the Allen key in place, and hopefully it'll work. Since I've installed the pedal lock, I have noticed that I'm slightly out on this hole here. I'm ever so slightly too far to the left, and the right hand side of this hole actually engages with the spring on the brake pedal, the right hand spring on the brake pedal. So just be aware that might be a problem. So I'll probably have to replace this spring at some point, but it's just too much hassle to redo all the screws and everything, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Just be aware that might be an issue.